Hello and welcome to another episode of Not Too Deep. I'm your host, Grace Helbig. I'm very excited because we have comedian, beautiful human, miniatures collector Lauren Lapkus on today's episode. And this is such a fun episode. We talk all about how she got started in comedy in Chicago to New York to LA. We talk about some embarrassing auditioning stories. We share a mutual, deep, aggressive love of reality television that we get into. Hers is amazing, and I'm so just in awe of her appreciation for the thing that I also love on such a deep trash level. And her new movie on Netflix, The Wrong Missy with David Spade, is out or coming out very soon. It's a hilarious movie. She's absolutely fantastic in it. It's got love. It's got heartbreak. It's got stunts. It also has some very steamy sex scenes that involve elaborate choreography. So make sure you check that out and enjoy this delightful episode of Not Too Deep with Lauren Lapkus.
Okay.
Lauren, thank you for being here in these bizarre times. How are you holding up?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I think I had like pure anxiety for the first couple weeks, and now I'm kind of leveling off. And I guess that's better, but probably I'm just disassociating from reality.
Yeah. I can't tell if I'm handling things okay or if I'm just becoming like blissfully ignorant and complacent, and then that'll have repercussions later.
Totally.
Okay. You are so fascinating and you do so many cool, interesting, fun things. I ask a lot of people that are guests that have like multifaceted things going on. What's your deal? How do you describe what you do to someone like a complete alien?
Yeah, I think I usually keep it as simple as possible and just say I'm a comedian or actor.
Okay.
But yeah, I do so many different things to like, keep my life rolling along and build a career. So if I were to get more specific, I would say comedian / improviser / actor / podcaster / that's probably where the slashes would stop. I guess.
So many slashes. So many slashes. I get it. Now, take me through the start of this, because you're from Illinois originally?
Yeah, I grew up in Evanston, right outside of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, I got into comedy like through improv. And when I was in high school, I was auditioning for like every play in my high school and just not getting into anything.
Perfect.
And I would get into like the like sketch show, like variety show that the kids would write and direct and stuff. I got into that every year, and that was like my thing. But I tried out for everything. And I had a teacher who recommended I take improv classes at Improv Olympic in Chicago. And so
cool.
It was like so life-changing because first of all, I really respected him. So the second he told me to do that, I was like, oh, okay, I'll go do that right now. And then like, pushed myself to go on Saturdays with like adults and be in their classes. And like, it was very, it was like, I was very shy in that kind of way, but
were you the youngest one in those classes?
Yeah. So I was like 18. I was like a senior in high school and everyone was like 24-ish. And that seemed so old to me at the time, which is so funny.
That's practically 40 at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like shocked that they smoked weed. I was like, you're 24.
Yeah. I got into the same thing. I think I was like 19 or 20. And I remember like people, but I looked like I was like 12. And I remember everyone like going to get a beer after a class once. And I was just like, I'm 20 and I'm like too much of a dork to even try to pretend to get into a bar at this point.
That was totally me too. That's so funny. Yeah. Where were you doing that?
I was in New York. I'm from New Jersey originally. So I went to college in New Jersey and like started like doing stuff there. And then, started taking classes in New York. And I was just same thing, shy, like nervous, but like wanted to be in this world. And everyone was older than me. So it's just me like figuring out how to blend in and fake like I was an adult when I had no idea.
No, and I'm sure I was not getting away with it either at all, especially because at one point I did go to prom like on a Saturday and had to miss a class. And so everyone was so supportive. And like the next week I brought in the like printed photos from my prom.
Oh,
and
that's
like,
so cute.
I think this is my prom dress. Everyone was so nice.
That's so cute. So you started in like Chicago and then you went to New York for a quick second.
Yeah, I was there. So I went to college at DePaul in Chicago. And then right after I graduated, I moved to New York for like a year and 3 months. It was very brief.
Okay.
I was in like a sketch comedy duo at the time, and we were going to move to LA. And then the last second, she was like, "Oh, I want to move to New York," because her family was over there. So I just was like, "Oh, me too." Like I just went.
Yeah.
So
it
was like
best way to make giant life decisions.
Totally. It's like just so blind and naive and just go for it. And it was the perfect time in life to do it because I was willing to like, live like shittily.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, so you're in New York for a year, which do you look back and think like how and why did I do that? Because I do that sometimes where especially now I'm like, I couldn't do it. I have no idea how.
Oh my God. I think it was perfect at the time because I was just so unaware of what I was getting myself into. So I don't like look back and think I shouldn't have done it or something. I think it was right. But it was not easy. And I moved like 3 times within 15 months to different apartments,
Crazy.
like pulling my stuff up and down stairs, like with friends, like just, it was so not stable, like the whole situation. And I was making like as little money as I could to survive just so I would have like free time to audition for things that no one was having me audition for. I was just hopeful,
Yeah. I have to be ready at all times for the 0 opportunities that are coming across right now. So you're in New York for a little bit and then you moved to Los Angeles?
Yeah. So then I moved to LA in beginning of 2010.
Okay. And so you've been in LA ever since.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been doing, I mean, I like talking to you because I feel like I have been participating in too many podcasts as of late, but your resume blows mine out of the water.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How many are you doing at this current moment?
Well, okay. As of right now, I'm only hosting 2, which is really good for me.
Good for you. That's self-care.
Yeah, this is self-care. But I've been guesting on like a trillion because I'm available and sitting at home. So I just like posted on Instagram yesterday because I wanted to like post about the podcast I've been doing as a guest. And there were like 6. And I was like, this is embarrassing. Like I can't I truly feel like I should be arrested for being annoying. Like it's just like, let's stop. Like, but it's fun. I don't know. It's fun. It's always fun. It feels nice to like see people and talk to people. So I appreciate
exactly. I feel like this is the vehicle that we're getting to socialize at this point right now.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the first podcast that you started?
My first podcast as a host was with special guest Lauren Lapkus, and that's an improv show. So the idea of the show is that the guest is the host and I'm the guest. So the guest would come on and they decide what the show is going to be, what it's going to be about, what their character is going to be, and they make up a character for me. And I don't know any of it until we hit record. And so they just introduce their fake show and bring me on as a fake guest, and we have a conversation for an hour as characters.
That's wonderful. And that also, I mean, it gets, puts all the work on someone else, which is
It does. It's kind of like it feels that way. And I think people can be intimidated when they come on. But then ultimately, I feel like I am doing 90% of it because I know that I have to keep it going and like keep it fun. So it's like putting the pressure on them at the top so that I don't have to like do the work of coming up with a character. And then we go from there.
And then you do the heavy lifting moving forward.
Ideally,
who's been some of your standout guests or episodes?
Oh my God. Well, I've had so many amazing improvisers on that show. It's so hard to pick. One of my favorite ones that comes to mind immediately is with Sean Diston. He's hilarious. He's so funny. Everyone should check him out. But he came on as Skilo, the singer of like, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was And he made my character be Frank Dorito, the world record holder for most records in like the Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
Most wishes granted. So it was like this whole thing where it was like I get all my wishes, and he's someone who has all these wishes. So I was like teaching him how to make a wish to be taller or be a baller.
I love it. Yeah. That's so great. But now you've ventured into a lot of podcasts that are, well, I know the Star Wars one that you're doing with Nicole Byer. And And the premise is that you guys are watching Star Wars for the first time?
Yes, it's called Newcomers. We've never seen Star Wars at all. And so we watch every single movie that exists and a
Wow.
spin-off thing or whatever, and talk to people who are passionate about it. So we have on like a comedian who cares about Star Wars to kind of balance out our like feeling of like, what is happening and what is this movie and why is it 2.5 hours long? Why are they all 2.5 hours long?
I've seen all of them, but I couldn't tell you anything about them. And seeing you guys do this podcast makes me think I should like reinvestigate this entire very, powerful, culturally important series. What are the biggest things that you guys have been learning through this process?
Oh my God. Okay. What have I been learning?
I mean, the scary thing about it is that it's such a beloved like thing that I'm afraid to even touch anywhere near it because people have such reverence around it.
Yes. And this is how I always felt. I feel like I was afraid to say I didn't care about it. Like it felt like you can't even say that. Like you just have to like just don't talk if you don't care about it.
Yeah.
But so going into it, I think we were a little bit nervous that because the first couple episodes before they like dropped, we were saying on every episode, like, please be nice to us. Like we don't know what this is. And we're trying to learn, like, don't be mean. Cause we were really afraid that people were going to just attack us for being like, ignorant about it or whatever. And so that was kind of scary, but everyone's been pretty cool. I haven't like searched Reddit to see how people feel about it. I feel like that's where like the mean people would go.
Yep. Yeah. That's a dangerous platform.
Yes. So I haven't looked there, but on Twitter, everyone's been nice about it. And I think what I've learned is like, I feel like one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of the fans of the movies hate the movies and they're mad about many things about the movies.
Okay.
And so I feel like I'm a fan because I've seen them all and I hate a lot of things about them, but I also like certain things about them and I feel defensive of some stuff now. So it's kind of interesting.
Okay. So you've entered this new like world, for lack of a better word. It's funny to see and hear that people are so passionate in their negative sense of like, it could be better. It should be better.
Yes. And I mean, some of the things that people were really mad about, I found that I wasn't mad about, or movies that they hated. I'm like, that's my favorite one. So it's kind of interesting to be in this new thing. Yeah.
Very cool. Have you found a character that you relate to or have become obsessed with in any way?
I really got obsessed with porgs, which are those little like creatures. I don't even know how you describe them. But one thing I love about them is that apparently there were like, I can't remember if it was penguins or some kind of bird that was around when they were shooting and they couldn't get rid of them. So they just CGI'd these porgs on top. They made up the character just to like deal with this problem they had.
Oh, that's amazing. That's absolutely wonderful.
Nicole loves Jar Jar Binks. So we have really controversial opinions.
That's a very polarizing character.
Yeah.
Wow. Hot topics. I also love that the other side of the coin is that you're also like obsessed with reality television.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. How about you?
You're in a safe space here. I'm obsessed. I know that you're doing a podcast about the new spinoff of The Bachelor.
Yes. Okay. So on my Patreon, I'm doing watch-alongs for Listen to Your Heart. So you can sync me up with the show and hear every reaction.
That's a beautiful gift.
It's very fun. I feel like people are kind of lonely right now. It's like something to do to feel like you have friends over making fun of something, and it's been fun.
I also haven't watched that one at all because the commercial that I saw for it, I thought was a parody. Like I thought that I was like, this can't be real. Is it insane?
Yes, it's so insane. Well, here's what's so crazy. So it's like musicians who are trying to find love. So they put men and women in one house and they have to like pair up with each other. And then they have to do performances together, which I haven't gotten there yet. The first 2 episodes, they don't do that. But they do go on each date they sing a song together because it's their natural, thing they want to do.
Their love language. Oh, God.
It is cringy, but it's also really cool because on The Bachelor, like nobody has any talents. Like they're like, their like job is like social media user, like they really like roast them in those job things. But like, I feel like this is kind of exciting to see people with talent on the show. Like showing their talent. Because even if you feel like they're annoying, then they start singing and you're like, oh my God, they're like amazing.
Yeah. And I can't sing for shit. So that's like a superpower to me. So it like is a great equalizer for all these people. When did you get obsessed with The Bachelor?
Oh my God. I think like in high school. I've been watching this for so long, which is disturbing.
No, I think it's great. I'm super Real Housewives, like deep cut.
Okay, what's your favorite franchise or or like location?
I'm from Jersey, so Jersey is near and dear to my heart. But then Melissa and I, she's also obsessed. We were just talking about where we're at with like the Atlanta season was kind of a snoozer this season. And then the new New York and the new Beverly Hills season are fascinating because
there's going to be so much good stuff.
That they're just like going in, recording everything, showing everything. And that's the part I love is like when they start like breaking off and talking to producers thinking that they're not being filmed or recorded. I love that shit so much. Oh
my God. Well, the whole thing with Denise Richards, I'm like so excited about that. Because I was reading that a little bit. I try not to even read about like the tabloids before the show comes out. I don't know why. I think it's like spoilers. I'm like, I don't want to know what happens in their life.
Exactly. And I only like last year started doing like the deep dive Instagram, look at them, follow some of them here and there. And it's just fascinating. And I feel like they have to do that this season with Denise because last season everyone was like, it felt very scripted and it felt like they all kind of like, you know, curated their own narratives. And now it's like, oh, I just love the clip of her being like, don't talk your mics.
I love that. And it feels so real. Like you can just imagine like, you know, she's my favorite. I think she's so amazing. Yeah. And she, you know, she's had all this drama in her life with like Charlie Sheen and everything that she must be so familiar with that thing of like, do not say a word. And she's just like teaching her husband, like, don't talk. Don't say anything. You're mic'd. Like, you don't know what's going to go down.
Well, so good. It blows my vibe because she's been through stuff I can't even begin to start understanding. But then she'll be like, oh, I don't have a lawyer. And they're like, what?
I know. And she's like, it's fine. I know Charlie. I know how to handle this. And it's like, what do you mean?
Do you? I gotta know more. Okay, have you talked to any of the Bachelor, Bachelorette contestants? Have you had them on any of your shows?
Yes, I have. I haven't had them on my show, but I've been on some of their shows. I was on Nick Vile's podcast. Oh, yeah. Which was very interesting because he told me a lot of like, I asked a lot of questions about like behind the scenes stuff. Totally. And one thing I've read is that like, you're not allowed to like read anything besides the Bible. And he was like, that's not true.
I didn't even know that, but I wish that was true.
I know. I read it on some like weird list of lies about The Bachelor, I guess. But it was like they're only allowed to read like, you know, religious texts. And he was like, that's not true. But like, it's kind of understood that if you're laying there reading, you know, they're not going to be happy. Like you don't want to be, it's not good TV. And I'm like, okay, so that's interesting. And my friend Arden Marine has a podcast about The Bachelor. Yeah. And so I've been on hers and gotten to meet a bunch of people through that, which is so fun. Like, it's so funny meeting these people because I feel like I am a fangirl. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like it's the guy from The Bachelor. More than like some famous actor in some ways. It's so crazy.
100%. Have you thought about if you were a contestant, what your entrance would be?
You know, I have thought about this. It's such a tough one because I feel like it's so embarrassing. And they're like, so my dream, if I were really trying to find love, is that I would just walk in and be normal because I'd be like the only one who just introduces themselves and like walks in. Right. But if I had to like, you know, be funny about it, I feel like I guess what I would do is, okay, so like the limo pulls in with like a bunch of beautiful people. And then behind that, I'll be in one of those like little tykes, like Fisher Price red cars with the yellow roof. Yeah. Just like shoved in there in my gown and like using my feet to like move forward and fall out at his feet. I feel like that would be a good one.
I love it. I think it'd be fantastic.
What about you? Do you have an idea?
I mean, I've thought about it. I don't know. Same kind of thing that I'd want to go and just be like, hi, I'm Grace. I'll be at the bar. I'll talk to you whenever, you know, I'm allotted to talk to you. Or just, the limo drives up and I'd just be driving the limo and I get out of the front
good.
seat.
No one's done that.
Right? But then I think logistically, I don't know how, that would be terrifying to try and drive a limo on a wet concrete.
Yeah, you couldn't do the turn in.
I know.
Yeah.
And just destroy it immediately.
Just scraping along the gate like as you pull in.
Yeah. I don't have insurance. Is there a reality show that you would ever really consider going on?
Oh, God. I mean,
like a Survivor,
yes.
Amazing Race, Supermarket Sweep.
Well, I'd love to do that. I love
same.
games, but yeah. I think I would. This is something that comes up a lot in my house because I'm always kind of jokingly threatening to my husband that if anyone ever asked me to be on Dancing with the Stars, I would do it. And I can't dance. And it's like humiliating. But I think there's something so vulnerable about Dancing with the Stars. And when I watch it, I always cry. I feel like watching these people like do this passionate choreography and it's like weird and they're wearing the worst outfits. And so I sort of think I would say yes to that.
I think that would be fantastic.
My other dream is to be a judge on The Masked Singer.
Okay. I've only recently been introduced to this show.
Me too.
Okay, it is fascinating, and anytime that I have turned it on, I do get completely caught up trying to guess who this person is. And
it's so fun.
Yeah, I'm always wildly off, and I have no concept of like who is in Hollywood that would do this show.
Well, see, I've guessed a couple of them right, and so like JoJo Siwa was on there, and I got it, and I was like,
okay. Yeah,
I was like, I need to be sitting there. I could guess this shit. Like, this is good.
Yeah. It's also one of those things where I can only watch it in small doses because I get very overwhelmed by like, this is the state of the world. Because I did see that like Sarah Palin was also on recently.
I know.
And that I didn't watch that episode, but I saw the clips from it and I was a little too like, I don't know why it gave me a lot of anxiety.
Yes, I saw that before I started watching and it did freak me out. But then the quarantine happened and I felt like I need a weekly show that I get excited about. And so that's what this became for me. But I think it's dark, even if you don't even know who's in there. It's just the most surreal, weird show on TV. Like watching people like wear a frog costume and like sing their heart out and like grind around on stage. I'm like, yeah. And the audience is going wild. It's so weird.
It is so, it feels like a parody of like a reality singing competition.
Yes.
I'm stunned by the costuming. I think the costumes are so wonderful that I'm like, I want to know how they make these costumes. Give me the BTS of that. Yeah.
I know. And they have to make them so that the head can come off. Because like last night, Bret Michaels was revealed to be the banana. I'm sure everyone knows this by now.
Oh, classic.
And it was like watching him take off this huge banana head was just the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
It's like, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so wonderful. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I want to talk about the Wrong Missy, new movie coming out. Very exciting. So we'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not Too Deep. With Grace Helbig.
Did you know that there's a company that's mastered the science of sparkle? Meet Lightbox lab-grown diamonds. They hacked a billion-year process to grow stunning lab-grown diamond stones in about 2 weeks, and they're some of the highest quality stones that exist. They're always near colorless, always VS clarity, always a very good cut, and always $800 per carat. They come in 3 colors too: white, blush pink, and soft blue. After they're grown in the lab, they're transformed into gorgeous lab-grown diamond jewelry. It's beauty meets brain. Go to lightboxjewelry.com/Grace and use code GRACE for $25 off. That's lightboxjewelry.com/Grace. Use code GRACE for $25 off.
Not Too Deep.
Sports Research is your one-stop shop for a lifetime of performance, health, and wellness. They're the makers of the highest-rated collagen peptide product on Amazon and their flagship product, Sweet Sweat. Sweating helps burn calories, and Sweet Sweat, activated by your elevated heart rate, helps increase sweating during exercise. Look at this science. You can simply apply the gel, which comes in a variety of pleasing scents, to slow to respond problem areas before your workout. For best results, use Sweet Sweat in combination with Sports Research's best-selling waist trimmers, like their new Neon Waist Trimmer collection. And did you know that collagen is vital to help support the health of your skin, hair, nails, and connective tissues? Well, that's why you should try Sports Research's third-party certified and non-GMO verified collagen peptides, which provide the best product at the best price. Offered in a variety of flavors, Sports Research collagen peptides can be added to coffee, soup, sauces, or more at home or on the go. Look at all of these treasures for you. And you have a special offer coming your way. If you go to sportsresearch.com and use the code GRACE at checkout right now, you'll get 20% off your order. That's 20% off site-wide at sportsresearch.com with code GRACE at checkout. Okay, I want to talk about The Wrong Missy. It's wonderful. It's coming out May 13th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it's you, David Spade. It's how will you give the premise of the movie?
Yeah, so the premise of the movie is that David Spade basically goes on 2 dates. One is with Molly Sims, who's like a perfect supermodel, literally, and it's a great
Who doesn't age at all whatsoever. No. She looks incredible.
Yes. She's so beautiful. And then he goes on a blind date with me, and I play a woman named Missy. She's Melissa, and I'm like totally crazy and the worst person you could ever go on a date with, and I like wreak havoc everywhere. And he ends up texting me on accident to go on his corporate retreat instead of her. He wants to invite her and have it look like he has the supermodel girlfriend, and he brings me instead, and I just cause lots of problems for him. And
Classic.
It's very crazy. It's truly like every scene has something insane happen in it. So it's very fun.
It's very fun. Your character, it must have been just so fun to play.
Yeah, it really was. It was so fun because I got to be the person who does the crazy stuff. I feel like so often, like, you know, women are playing like oh, can you believe he's so wild? You know, so it was very fun to get to like be the one like screaming and jumping off of docks and just being nuts.
Oh, you have so much physical comedy in this. Did you do your own stunts? Because it's so much. Like you must have been exhausted and exhilarated the whole time.
Yes, I really was. And I had 2 or 3 stunt doubles who were amazing.
Wow.
And they did a lot of the really hard stuff. And like, especially like, you know, where like I fell off the cliff and stuff. I did end up having to I had to do a lot of my own stuff, which I, just to make it look right. You know, I had to do at least like 3/4 of it. And that was hard for most of that stuff. Like for the falling off the cliff, they had me like strapped into this machine where I was like spinning head over feet, like just so that they could get my face like, you know, doing flips.
Yeah.
And I was going to throw up. And that was my literal last day of shooting. Like it was like after everything, you're like, you're done. And then they were like, oh, can you come back? And then like the next day I'm like spinning in this thing. And I was like,
we're going to put you in just a solo gravitron for an hour and just see how you do.
Yeah.
It's really fun. And like you said, you get to play this like crazy outlandish character, and David Spade is basically like the straight guy the whole time.
Yeah.
There's also a very hilarious sex scene. I don't want to spoil too much for people. But I'm curious how you prepared for such a romantic endeavor.
Well, there was a stunt double involved in one of those sex scenes. So there were, and we actually had a couple stunt doubles, I think, were used in some of those sex scenes. There's a lot of preparation that went into them. And you know, we had like just discussed, I think there's a scene with me and Sarah Chalk and David Spade where she had a stunt double as well. But it was truly like a lot of specific choreography to get it just right, because a lot of stuff happens one after another. So it was, you know, awkward, but fun and funny and weird.
That's fantastic. Did you use any inspiration from the contestants on The Bachelor or Bachelorette for the role of Missy? Because I can see a lot of kind of parallels and similarities happening.
You're right. There, you know, I think those people just seep into my brain, and they're just there.
They're just living there.
Waiting for a moment for it to make sense. I mean, that was what was so great about this movie, because like we got to improvise a lot. And so because this character has like no filter, I just got to say anything, and they kept a lot of it in, which was really surprising. So that was cool.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was going to ask if there was a lot of improv on set, because it feels like it must have been very cathartic just to be kind of the worst in some moments.
Just like screaming in someone's face, or like just being the meanest and grossest person. It's so fun. 'Cause you just never get to do that in real life. So yeah, it feels good.
So great. I mean, are there any, everyone always asks, are there any goofs and spoofs from set? Because did you guys film in Hawaii?
Yeah, we did, which was so cool. We got to like, a lot of the movie was filmed at the Four Seasons in Hawaii. So we got to like stay there for a bit of it, which I cannot complain about. That was very nice.
Amazing.
But yeah, there was always something crazy happening because the scenes were so over the top. Like, I mean, there's a scene where, I mean, a guy falls over a balcony. Yeah. And like, then watching like this stunt guy, I mean, that's the thing that I left like most impressed by, was these people who do these stunts, because they're so dedicated and they're like, they just throw themselves fully into these things. And this guy was just falling like, I mean, very far onto like a mat that's like this thick, like with his head. Like, it's just like, I don't understand. And then like, there was another one where this guy had to like fall over a beach chair onto like cement by the pool, and he's supposed to like hit his head, and he like he's supposed to fall on his head, so he like falls like shoulder to head and then like body down, and like it did hurt. Like, I think like the thing is like these people like it does
They're actually risking their lives for this art.
Because I think on some level you think like they're so strong they don't get hurt or something, but it's like, no, they're just willing to hurt themselves in a way that you're not. So they can just throw themselves into something. So that was always crazy watching people do stunts. I was very impressed.
Kudos to them. I mean, that's stunt people are amazing specimens. I can't even begin to fathom the things that they do to their bodies, like for fun.
No, I worked with this one guy on a different thing where he was like known for being the best at like being lit on fire or whatever. Like, he's like known in the community as like, he can just like take it, and he like is awesome at it.
Wow.
And he lit himself on fire. Like, I was sitting next to him as he's lit on fire, and he's just like perfectly calm. It's just
Jesus
crazy.
That's, oh God. Yeah. I mean, how do you even find yourself at that point in your life where like, that's your superlative, is like best fire guy?
I know. I'm so curious about the path that they take to get there. But some of the women I worked with doing the stunts on this movie, like they are clearly like have a gymnastic background or whatever.
Sure,
like they can do like so many cool things and like that. I mean, that's part of it. So you have to make it look really smooth.
Totally. Going along with the premise of the movie, have you ever been on a bad blind date?
No, I don't think I've ever been on a blind date. But
okay.
I've had one date that I think of as being, I'm a serial monogamous, so there's not a lot of like dating periods. Okay,
same.
So I had one date with a guy who was like so sweet, and it was like a really nice date. And it was just kind of cute. This was like when I was 20, but like on the way home, he like dropped me off in the car. And then like he went to like maybe kiss me or hug me or something, but his seatbelt was on. So he was just like, oh. and then I was like, eh. And then I just got out of the car. It was like one of those
safety first.
That was awkward. Okay, bye.
Safety first.
Have you had a blind date ever?
I think it's because they terrify me. It's too much of a gamble, and I think I'm also like serial monogamous in that like I can make up my mind very quickly about whether I'm like attracted to someone.
Same.
But I also am, I think, polite to a fault, that I could give someone the wrong impression, knowing like in my heart that like this is not for me, but I don't want to make this person feel bad. So I've like avoided those situations at all costs. But in the blind date sort of realm, did you get into Love is Blind?
Yes, I watched all of Love is Blind, and that was wonderful. It's a great show.
Where does it rank against Bachelor for you?
Okay. It ranks, I think what I like about it is that it was faster and more to the point than Bachelor. And I could binge it, which is great.
Yeah.
What I would actually put Married at First Sight above Love is Blind. Do you ever watch that?
Oh, I'm obsessed. My boyfriend and I do our own podcast about Married at First Sight.
You do? Oh my God, I have to listen to that.
We just started because it's like the one reality show that he will watch with me because there's like psychology involved in it. Whatever that bullshit is. This season has been a tanker. I was telling Melissa before we started that I was like, I haven't watched the reunion from last night I'm very obsessed with. I got to see what Zach has been up to.
I watched up to that point last night. He's so annoying. This season was so crazy. I felt like they were just... Do you think that the producers were trying to make bad matches? Because this was so weird. Like they've had better seasons where everyone, it's much more real feeling.
Yes. And this season I did go into a deep dive of like looking up some conspiracies on the internet. And the conspiracy is that a couple brides had dropped out like a couple weeks before they started filming and they were already in like production. So they just kind of plugged in like Taylor, for instance, last minute, which would make sense if that's the truth, because they say that she was supposed to go on like Love Island or something and her schedule didn't work out. And the video that they have of her talking about like how she can't find a guy is a very weirdly doctored video. But that's the conspiracy that I read, that her and I don't know who the other bride is that they plugged in, but that would make the most
really
sense.
Real.
Yeah. And I did see that they have a trailer for another season that's coming out soon because I feel like I think they know they fucked up this season, and so they're trying to sweep it under the rug real quick and be like, but here's another shiny new season for you.
They need to, because this season was like upsetting with how bad some of these matches were. Like Brandon and Taylor, and he just like was fighting with production the whole time. It was so annoying. It was kind of fun to watch, but still like not what I came here for,
Right.
And, like it's just not the type of show. So it's just that's kind of interesting. But yeah, I do think Married at First Sight is better than Love is Blind because it's just more exciting to watch someone just have to get married than to get to even talk to the person.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And it's more like, okay, I like that they have to like go live together. I like the way it's broken down.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh wait, did you watch Too Hot to Handle or whatever that was?
No. Okay. I was going to ask you this because I haven't brought myself to watch it. It's in the grand scheme of reality TV. On paper, it seems like something that I should be interested in, but I don't know why it just makes my heart hurt a little bit. And I haven't gotten to bring myself to watch it yet. Have you?
I think you're right. I did watch all of it.
Okay.
I think you're right to feel this way. I didn't really want to watch it, and my husband had it on, and I was like surprised that he was getting into it. But I think we're honestly so starved for like companionship here that like he was like getting so invested in their relationships, and he was like, "That was so nice that guy did that." I was like, "This isn't real." Like, but it's really just a cast of like the horniest people in the country who cannot not have sex. And then they tell them they can't have sex. And if they do, it'll be like they have $100,000 pot that will be depleted from every kiss, touch, sexual interaction, whatever. Wow. And they still do it. They know the money is going to go away, and they'll just be like, I just got to kiss you. And it's been 10 hours. Like, it's like, you could just wait. But they're just all so horny. So it's very, very exciting.
Okay. Yeah. I think I know that I'll watch it at some point, but I just haven't gotten there yet. But that makes me a little bit more excited to watch it.
Yeah. And they don't know that when they're going in there that they're going to be told they can't hook up.
Oh,
so
okay.
Like they all come in being like, we're all gonna fuck, and then they're like told like you can't, and then they all freak out and do it anyway.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, I also just wish that I could see the pitch meetings for these show ideas that happen. I would love to be a fly on the wall just hearing how it goes down.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like I have ideas that are that dumb all the time, but I just would never suggest them to anyone because it's like, why would I talk about it? Like, okay, we get all the horniest people on an island, then tell them they can't have sex, and it's like,
right?
That's not an idea, but then it is, and it's like, and I watched the whole thing. So
exactly. I mean, I feel like this could be a future endeavor for you. Is like EPing some reality concepts.
I actually do have that dream. I have that dream. I think
it could happen.
I thought I have had that thought since I don't know why, but like Teen Mom, I've watched since I was, I don't know, 20 probably. And I've always thought, I'm like, this is such a good idea. This show is so good. Like, I can just pitch something like this. Like, this is not, I don't know. But
do you have any ideas swirling around currently?
Right now I don't really. I feel like I'm in a state of like just ingesting things that other people do.
Take it all in. Also, you have a movie to promote, so there'll be time down the line.
I'll figure out a reality show later.
Okay. I ask a lot of people that have auditioned, and you've done commercials, you've done TV, you've done movies, all that. Do you have a standout like auditioning story, or do you does anything come to mind? Because it's like I hate auditioning so much, and I think it's like one of the worst things that people have to do and voluntarily do.
Yes. Oh my God, it's so uncomfortable, and like especially, I mean, there are always bad auditions, no matter how good you get at this whole thing. Like it's like you still mess up and like want to kick yourself. I definitely had auditions for commercials that I found humiliating because they can be really mean to you at commercial auditions.
Yeah. It's like a for real cattle call. Like
it's like so mean. Like sometimes the people who are like manning the camera are like, okay, just do it. Like they're just like, okay. They're so dismissive. Like they'll bring in like a group into the room to like explain what you're gonna do. Cause it's usually like, okay, you'll walk into the frame and then you'll like look over there and then you'll notice him and then you'll be done. Like it's not like you have to do much, but it's a very hard thing to do well.
Yeah.
And like they'll just call in like 10 people and like they'll just explain it and they're like, and someone asks a question like, don't ask a question. Like they're just like, I was gonna explain that. Like they just get so harsh. I'm like,
yeah,
I get that you hate what you're doing right now, but like it makes me feel bad about myself. Exactly. So I had a lot of experiences like that. But I also had this one that always comes to mind is like I auditioned for what's the name of that movie? 21 Jump Street.
Okay.
And there was some line in it that was like, what are you, a 40-year-old freshman? Because I think the characters like go back to college or something in that.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to say, what are you, a 40-year-old freshman? And then in my car, I was practicing it and I kept saying 40-year-old virgin. And I was like, oh, don't say that when you go in there. Like, don't say 40-year-old virgin. I just kept being like, just don't say 40-year-old virgin. That's fine. And then the second I went in, I was like, what are you, a 40-year-old virgin? And I went, fuck. I like couldn't control myself because I knew I was going to do it. And then I did it. And then I just screamed, fuck. And then everyone in there was like, okay. And then I was sorry, can I do it again? And then they're like, yeah. And then I didn't get it. And it was horrible.
So you're like, I think they think I have Tourette's. I don't know. But,
yeah. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'll never forget that.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. We're going to take one last break. When we get back, we have a lot of Twitter questions for you that are very delightful. So we'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Are you stuck at home and feeling isolated or overwhelmed and worried about the state of things? You don't have to worry. All of us are going through it, and there's something that might be able to help you out. BetterHelp is what I'm talking about, offers online professional counselors who can help. You can talk to a licensed online therapist and find relief. They have therapists that specialize in issues such as depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, insomnia, family conflicts, and more. I've had a lot of friends use this app and they absolutely love it. The convenience and the actual depth of help that they're getting is bar none. You can connect with your counselor in a safe and private online environment. Anything you share is confidential. You simply fill out a questionnaire to help assess your needs and get matched with a counselor that you'll love in less than 24 hours. Easily schedule secure video or phone sessions with your therapist, plus exchange unlimited messages. That's the one thing I've heard from friends that have used this app, that the ability to text and talk with your therapist at your convenience is so absolutely wonderful. And if for some reason you're unhappy with the counselor that you're matched with, you can request a new one at any time for no additional charge. You can get professional help when you want it, wherever you are. BetterHelp is truly an affordable option, and you guys will get 10% off your first month with the discount code GRACE. So why not get started today? Go to betterhelp.com/grace. That's betterhelp.com/grace. Talk to a therapist online and get some help. Okay, we're going to get into these Twitter questions, but before we do, I'm going to ask you the two questions I ask every single guest that's on the podcast. And the first is, who, alive or dead, would you most want to throw cold spaghetti at?
Okay. Oh, wow. I guess I would actually like, my first impulse is someone I don't like, but then I think it'd be more fun to do it at someone I like. So I'm going to pick Robin Williams.
That's a great answer. And I
think
would
he would
love to
react
see that.
interestingly. Yeah.
Oh, I think it would become an entire like half-hour long bit. I think it'd be great. Okay, the other question I ask every guest is to tell us your worst pants shitting story or close call, but you can only use 3 words or 3 small phrases. So, for example, mine is college jogging front lawn.
Ooh, I can see it. Okay,
Yeah.
mine is hiking,
Oh.
log toilet seat,
Oh.
shred of paper towel.
Oh no. The
Sock.
great outdoors.
I'm adding sock. I want to add sock.
I mean, and in these times, anything can be toilet paper, so that feels fitting. Well, no follow-up questions to that then.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh God, I don't know that they're ever good, but it is a great thing that brings us all together. That we all, and I'm glad that you had one on deck immediately.
Oh, I know it immediately. Yeah.
Okay, here's some Twitter questions for you. Shannon wants to know, what was it like working on The Big Bang Theory?
Oh, it was so cool. That was something I never expected to happen because I feel like that show was on. I joined as a guest in like season 11, and so it had been on for so many years, and I never got an audition or anything. So I feel like I just thought I would never be on that show. So it was so cool, and to go into something where like they've been doing it for so long. It's such a well-oiled machine. It's and then the fans of the show who come in the audience to like watch are so excited.
Oh, that's so sweet.
For the most part, yeah, it was like such a cool thing to be part of a show. Like it felt like Friends, like where it's like, oh, you're at this thing that's so iconic and people love it so much. And I really loved it. Everyone was so cool. And coming into season 12, like when they announced, like I was like there the day that they like figured out they weren't going to do anymore, and because Jim decided to call it, and I like we just did like a fun table read, and then like went home and like saw on Deadline like, oh, it's the last season.
Hey, like, what did I do?
I was like, oh, I was there. And then they had that conversation, and then it's done. But it was so cool. And I actually got to work with Mark Hamill, which I had not seen Star Wars yet. So I didn't pretend to have seen it, but I wish now that I had seen it because I would have talked to him about it.
So many different conversations could have been had. Someone wants to know, what is your dream role?
Well, something like the Wrong Missy role was so fun and so exactly what I've always wanted to do, that I think my dream would be to get to do a lot more big comedies like that. Like Melissa McCarthy style, where she just gets, she gets to do all the fun stuff and like, shit in sinks and things. And I want to do that. So
that's the dream, to shit in sinks. It can happen.
Yeah.
Sean wants to know, what country's money is the most fun?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to every country, but I've been to a few. And I would say, I actually think Canada's money is really fun. It's colorful, and they also have toonies, which I think are cool. Yes. And I feel like we could really benefit from changing our coins here. So I'm going to say Canada.
I agree. It sounds like cartoon money. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Yvonne wants to know, what's your favorite part of being on tour for Comedy Bang Bang?
Oh, I really love just going to new cities over and over again. Like there was a period where we toured for like a month straight, where we were going to a new city almost every day. And that was so fun. I love flying on planes. I love going to new cities. I love just like settling in at a hotel. So being with the guys, and like we got along really well on tour and having a good time. I think the whole thing was just a great time, but getting to like travel so much and see all these different places that I might not go to was my favorite part.
Totally. Is there plans in the future for more?
Yeah, we had some on the books for the summer. So unfortunately that's all being pushed, and I don't know when we'll get to go to like live shows again, but hopefully. I mean, we already have stuff we want to do. So when it's back, we'll be back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Girl named Katie says, read the Amazing Characters sketch where she strips to Brick by Ben Folds. Which is amazing. What were the alternative sad songs that she wanted to strip to?
Yeah, okay, so I used to do that bit at UCB like live before I did it in my character special on Netflix. So I would strip to Fast Car by Tracy Chapman and I edited it down so it just kept going right back to the chorus again, and I'm like humping an audience member with like dead eyes, and it was very fun.
Great.
And so then I did it in my special and she said no.
Because you had to ask for permission.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
I didn't ask her directly, but somebody did, and she said no.
Yeah.
And then I thought of Brick as being like the saddest song I've ever heard. So we asked Ben Folds and he said yes. And he's since like reached out and like was totally happy about it and thought it was funny. And he was so cool. So that was like such a perfect way that it worked out.
Oh, that's wonderful. And just continues to add on to how great Ben Folds is.
Yes. He's so cool.
Kim wants to know favorite Spice Girl.
Oh, wow. Baby.
Oh,
where's Baby?
Okay. The great question. I feel like she's hosting some reality show somewhere, doing
she probably
something.
is. I feel like she's my favorite in my head right now because I don't know anything about where she is. Like, I guess Victoria is like thriving and Scary Spice is thriving. And I saw Ginger had a whole news story. I feel like, what was it that she like hooked up with Scary Spice or something? Was that what it was?
Oh, really? I could see that. But also, I don't know where Sporty is.
Oh yeah,
she's
been up to.
Sporty?
I didn't even remember her. See, that's she is the answer then because I didn't think of her. Yeah, Sporty Spice.
Maddie wants to know, Lauren, what's one topic that you would never consider having a podcast about if there is one?
I think I would say like love and relationships.
Oh, okay.
Like I
like earnestly.
Yeah. I'm like interested in listening to other people talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
I just I feel like I share so much of my life on like all these podcasts and I'm so happy to talk about most things. But then whenever I share about my like really personal stuff about my relationships, I usually then like kind of wish I didn't say it. So I think I wouldn't want to have a podcast all about my relationships.
But that makes sense because for you that does so much as yourself that like you need to have some sense of privacy or something that's a little bit just for you.
Yeah, we got to draw the line somewhere, but it's such a blurry, weird line that like is almost meaningless. But yeah.
Yeah. Danny wants to know, do you have a weird or unusual hobby?
Yeah, it's behind me. I collect miniatures and I have a little collection on my little back thing there. It's very far away and I don't want to mess up my whole camera situation to show you, but
you're good.
I collect miniatures and I collect these little dolls called Sunny Angel dolls. And
what are they?
You should look them up. They're little. I'll grab one. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, take your time. Show and tell. I'm very excited. They're called Sunny Angels?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this is one.
And
they're like these little dolls and they're naked and they have different heads. So every single one has a different head and you get a blind box and you don't know what it's going to be. So when I was traveling in Japan with my husband, we went to some little stationery store and we saw these blind boxes with this little picture on it of this guy. And so we bought 2 of them and then we opened them and got so obsessed immediately. But we didn't know where that store was and we could never find it again. So then like we started seeing them. Like once you look for them, you will see them. Like they are these weird things that you think are nowhere. And then you'll go to like weird boutiques and they'll just have them.
And did they originate in Japan?
I actually don't know that. I don't know their backstory, but like so I thought they did. I thought they were like some weird Japanese toy, but I've since seen them at like boutiques in New York or just random little gift stores. And so we made a rule that we could only buy them if you happen to stumble upon them. You can't order them online. And
you can't seek them out directly.
No, and you can't just keep going to the store and buying 10. You can only buy 2 at a time. So we each get one. And we also have
these rules.
Yeah, then we got a new rule because I realized I like befriended them on Instagram and then they send me some stuff sometimes, so I'm really happy. But we made a new rule that was like, okay, you can order them online if it's a holiday. Okay. So I got them for Valentine's Day and I got them for his birthday. And we kind of like, we have like rules like that. But yeah.
How many are there to collect?
There are hundreds, and
Wow.
I have probably like 50 or something. But
amazing.
there's so many, and I keep finding new designs, and they keep making new ones. They have a cacti series now that I really want, but I'm like, it's not a holiday.
Yeah, just go on those websites that it's like everyday holidays and just
I
start
should just be like, it's
rationalizing.
Secretary's Day. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Gina wants to know what was the best part about making the Between Two Ferns movie.
Oh, working with Zach Galifianakis. He's like the funniest. I mean, I feel so lucky because I've gotten to work with some of my favorite comedians. Like David Spade is one of them, and Zach is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Will Ferrell, like people who are so funny, and they're just always being funny, even if they don't mean to be. Like, I mean, Zach is somebody who like he is the most amazing physical comedian. And so doing that movie, like he would just throw in physical bits that weren't even a part of anything. Like there's a part where like, the studio floods and we're all washing down the hallway. And then he just like stood up with the ferns and kept falling down and like whacking himself with them. And I was like crying. Like I literally was pinching my leg so I wouldn't laugh and ruin the whole thing. I'm just looking at him like, this is so cool that I get to watch you do this and just
amazing.
go crazy. Yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And the movie was so good. And
thanks. That was fun.
There's so much physical comedy now that you're saying it. I'm like, oh yeah, that was so intense. And
and he does it so casually. Like it's just like he's like flopping and falling on the ground, and it's just so funny.
Okay. The last question for you before we give you a gift for making time for us is someone wants to know what is the best set you've ever worked on and why?
Oh wow.
I'm sure that's hard.
It is hard, but I think Between Two Ferns might be my favorite one because I was like friends with everyone. And so it was just like a really fun time. And we were improvising the movie 90% of it. So like we just got to like make it all up and have fun. And it was just a good time. Like I just enjoyed everyone and was happy to go to work every day. And like
that's
so
awesome.
sad when it was over. So that was my favorite. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great because the movie is so fun that you love hearing that the process of making it was equally as cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Lauren, thank you for making time and talking to us. Before we completely wrap up, when we do these in person, we usually give our guests a personalized fortune cookie from us to you. And today we're going to give you a virtual fortune cookie that I believe Melissa has sent to you that you're welcome to read the fortune of.
Sugar water up your butt is not suggested, but it's also not illegal.
There you go. Wow. These fortunes.
I now have a plan for the day.
Yeah, you have an activity. Lauren, where can people find you on social media, what you're doing, and the movie and everything that's coming up for you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lauren Lapkus. And I have a Patreon at patreon.com/Lauren Lapkus, where I'm doing lots of watch-alongs with Star Wars films and, reality TV. And I'm doing improv on there and stuff as well. And I'm recurring on Good Girls right now on NBC, so you can catch that. And then The Wrong Missy on Netflix May 13th.
Awesome. Congratulations. Yeah. That's so cool, guys. Go check out all of it. There's literally something for everyone that you're doing. And we'll see you guys next time on another episode of Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Too deep, too deep, too deep, not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Not Too Deep is a production of Grace Helbig Incorporated, producer Melissa D. Montz, edited by Shireen Lani Yunus, post-production sound by Chris Henry, and an extra special thanks to Flula for the theme music.